Around 2017, 2018, and kind of leading up to that time period was the block size wars. And I think this is one of those things where the further we get away from it, there's fewer and fewer people in the crypto industry. All these new people, they don't really understand what that was or kind of what the different perspectives were. Walk us through kind of your recollection of that time and then kind of the decisions that you all made in terms of what eventually became Bitcoin Cash and all of that.
Yeah, at that time, I think it was kind of driven by kind of a passion. The Bitcoin changed my whole life, right? From kind of a poor students and later become kind of a so-called billionaire or something. It's also kind of a boost of my confidence, right? I can do things, I can make things happen. So I have to say, because of the whole journey, you have kind of a very strong attachment towards Bitcoin. I believe lots of the audience here, even including you, Pom, may have the same kind of feelings that Bitcoin is something that changes the life of you guys, and you just feel quite passionate about it. You want to do great things about it. We all know that the scaling debate was very important at that time. And two different group of peoples have different ideas about what is the best for the Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin was able to enjoy quite a good life, very good golden times, happy times before the scaling was an issue because Satoshi Nakamoto coded 1 megabyte hard limit there. But he left it a word that one day we should raise it, but he left. He never made it happen. He never did that. And later, people started to have a debate whether we should have hard fork, whether we should have a larger block size, and if the larger block size will lead to decentralization or not, and whether we need to run the Bitcoin node on a Raspberry or not. I think those lots of debate is getting more and more bizarre and more unrealistic. First, I started to take a stance that we should increase the block size, and obviously, such kind of debate was not able to happen on lots of the traditionally important discussion values like Bitcoin talk.org or R Bitcoin. It was kind of censored there. Some of us believe that this, if the block size cannot or could not be increased, it may mean the defeat or failure of Bitcoin. Widely supported by lots of users. So even though we may not get the support from the Bitcoin core developers, I think it's better to have a kind of a branch or a kind of different branch, different ways. We need to reserve kind of a seed for the Bitcoin's original design.
So when you think about Bitcoin and that scaling debate, right? Obviously, we get the fork, we get Bitcoin Cash. There's a whole bunch of questions that people want me to ask. I'm not going to get to all of them, but maybe I'll ask you kind of 2 or 3 of the top ones that do our best to kind of cover what people want to know. So first is, in terms of your personal portfolio, do you still hold Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? Do you hold other assets? Like, how do you think of your personal portfolio and really kind of using that as a proxy for, kind of how you want exposure moving forward?
Yeah, I hold lots of different kinds of coins. In very early days, I kind of was, I think just in the born of Litecoin, just a few days, I started to mine Litecoin, you know that. So I know, Pom, that you have only Bitcoin. I just listen to other podcasts, but I'm kind of a very different person than you. Just, I hold lots of coins. In my portfolio, I have like 20 to 30 kinds of coins, but the majority of them are kind of Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and there is still some kind of Litecoin and XCC, right? eCash, basically, it was a kind of fork of Bitcoin, and There are lots of other coins like lots of DeFi tokens and some other blockchains like SOL. I hold lots of it. Yeah.
And between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, do you think that you hold more Bitcoin or more Bitcoin Cash now?
More Bitcoin Cash.
More Bitcoin Cash. All right. And then when you think about kind of where we are today in hindsight, knowing everything you know now in terms of how the block size debate worked out, prices of assets, et cetera, what do you think like the biggest one or two lessons are that you learned through that time period up until today? You mentioned earlier that like there was this really interesting thing where you went from a student to a billionaire in like a short period of time. Like just what were some of those lessons?
Yeah, first, I think I have started to got some very, very deep understanding about the network effect. I know about network effect quite early, but it was kind of paper knowledge. But when you got to such kind of real experience, you know that the network effect is really strong. It's really something, and also I know that it's really hard to reach kind of good governance or kind of governance or consensus in a purely crowd or decentralized crowd. I think that would be really hard. And people, it's very easy for people to have a kind of a disagreement that cannot be consolidated or be reach kind of agreement upon with each other. So I think if I know that for lots of people, they have a different opinions with the Bitcoin core developers. But what they are really choosing to do is that let's just go to Ethereum. Let's start some other blockchain protocols, and they are doing quite fine, doing quite well. I think maybe in the future, I think I should take the same decisions as those people are doing.
Yeah. And then in terms of what I'll call the like social aspect. So there's definitely a technical aspect to this whole thing, right? In terms of do we increase the block size? Do we not? But then there was an entire like, I don't know, like social civil war within Bitcoin, right? Is probably the best way to describe it. And I feel like you and a couple of other folks, both on the Bitcoin Cash side and on the Bitcoin side, really, really went at it and kind of were in this like deep debate and argument. Is that something that you think is healthy and like it had to happen in order for us to get the technical side worked out? Or do you feel like that's just something that like is a one-time event and we're unlikely to see something that kind of serious and aggressive in the future?
Yeah, I think, honestly speaking, I think it was really bad. I think in kind of a confliction like this, the first things to die is the truth, right? And the second thing to die is kind of rationale. People start getting very emotional, and I think both sides have lying to each other. I have to admit that. I think it's better that the two community are separated and less kind of very meaningless and very destructive debate with each other. I think Bitcoin are doing quite good, are doing pretty well these days. It's a store value, got this position is very strong, and we see lots of institutions are coming to this. And no matter what other coins they are buying, but they are always buying Bitcoin. And I see Bitcoin Cash, even though it's in not a very strong position right now, because it did not get the name of Bitcoin, which was very important. And right now the market cap is lagging behind. But we see that Bitcoin Cash, people are pairing this dream of peer-to-peer electronic cash and trying to develop various kinds of infrastructure that waiting for people to use. And I see that those infrastructures are building from zero, to one, and to even more. And right now, there are kind of EVM compatible sidechains on the Bitcoin Cash. So I think both communities are more focusing on the constructive work to do and to promote and to grow its own community. I believe that is kind of a good situation. But right now, I still see that some of the community members are kind of hate with each other. But I guess it's much, much better than before, than many years ago.
For sure. What's up, guys? Bang, bang. Thanks so much for watching the Best Business Show today. If we're going to be the best business show, we obviously need the best partner. That's why the exclusive sponsor of the Best Business Show is SoFi. They're an all-in-one platform that allows you to invest in all kinds of different assets, including stocks, ETFs, crypto, IPOs, and they even have an automated investing function, if that's your thing. So before we start getting after it again, make sure that you go download SoFi, you get an invest account, and when you make your first crypto trade, regardless of what you buy, they'll give you $10 in Bitcoin for free. It's that simple. Head on over to SoFi.com/Pomp to get started today. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you come back and watch more of the Best Business Show tomorrow.